A little over a year ago, I had to sit through one of the ugliest, stupid, and downright boring animes I've ever seen, Sailor Moon Crystal. An overly long, half-assed retelling of a 90s anime that's so dated, even the most dedicated fans had a moment where they were like, wait, really? This retelling served only to cash in on the 90s anime nostalgia boom that Dragon Ball Z Kai created, and truth be told, I never would have watched this thing had it not been for the fact that several critics I trusted claimed that this series was great. Needless to say though, when I heard it was getting a third season, I was pretty pissed, especially seeing as I'm still waiting on Black Lagoon Season 3 here! But because I'm a completionist, I decided to watch Sailor Moon Crystal 3, and honestly, for the first time ever, I actually feel that a studio took a look at what went wrong and actually decided to fix problems based on what the fans want instead of what the chart says will attract the largest audience. Take a hint, certain studios! I know this sounds crazy and I find it, I still can't even believe this is the series that did this. But it's the truth, and I'm not gonna sit here and lie. And so the first thing that they really improve is the animation. I hated the Crystal animation. It's this really shit CGI, and there's all these dumb details, like giving them lipstick and making their necks like 20 feet high. It just looked terrible. So what they did is they scrapped all that, took the 90s character designs and just cleaned them up and updated for the modern day audience. That's what they should have done in the beginning. 90s anime has such its own unique, weird sort of fluidness to it, combined with sort of that gritty, unclean look. And again, Sailor Moon Crystal obviously is a kid's show. It was made to look very pretty and all that. But the thing is that I kind of miss that sort of, now that everything's done on computers, I feel like there's sort of a certain lack of that sort of grit that the 90s stuff kind of had. So seeing sort of a 90s anime style get a true pure update here actually was kind of nice to watch. It made the series very visually good to look at, and at the very least, my erections towards Sailor Mercury felt justified. As for the rest of the things, like the characters, how are they? Complete 180 turnaround. They actually had personalities in this. Okay, Tuxedo Mask is still just a bland, pretty boy, but hey, 6 out of 7 main characters getting a personality update ain't bad at all. Everyone had moments where I liked them. They had moments where I felt for them. They had moments where I genuinely wanted to see what would happen to them. Remember, the last Sailor Moon Crystal season did none of this. It only ever gave you a chance to get to know people when it was time for you to feel bad for them. So to improve that much in not a lot of time, it's insane. This shouldn't have happened. Normally studios just ignore it and just say, no, we're doing what the chart says. No, they actually went and fixed problems. This is genuinely a good-looking anime. I genuinely liked the characters for a lot of it. That is insane. So going any further in this review, I want you all to keep in mind that no matter what I say from here on out, I genuinely respect what was done here, and am glad for the first time ever someone actually tried to fix a problem. And that should be commended. And 3, 2, 1. Okay, God, the plot is freaking horrible in this. Oh my God. For everything it fixes, the plot is worse. And you think it would be easier because we got all the bullshit character introductions done before, so you can just go in and have a fun adventure. They do not do that. Let's start off with what the plot actually is. So several months after the events of the last season, Usagi and the rest of the Sailor Scouts are just living normal high school lives. All of this is interrupted when new monsters come and start attacking the city of, I guess, Tokyo, who cares? And there's also the arrival of 2 new Sailor Scouts, Sailor Neptune and Sailor Uranus. The reason I include this at the end is because I kind of gotta go a little spoilery to say what the problem is. And the thing is, this problem doesn't even need to be there, because this plot is simple and should be easy to get across. I had no problem when I realized this was what was going on. To be perfectly honest, I think because they were attacking Sailor Moon S, that's why they felt the need to improve things and really fix things, because I know that Sailor Moon, or Super Sailor Moon, or whatever it was called in the 90s, really lost a lot of people. A lot of people did not like the way that went. Some say it's because the arc was just poorly handled. I think part of it is by the time it happened, people were just getting tired of this show. But essentially, what happens here is a complete 360 from the cute, dumb, generic kitty plots of the last 2 seasons. What happens here is that the monsters are created by an evil scientist, Dr. every evil scientist you've seen in everything. And he is basically sending these monsters out to let his master take over the world. Caught in the middle of all this is his young daughter Hotaru, the reincarnated Sailor Saturn. Now, Sailor Saturn is actually being hunted by Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune because Sailor Saturn's power is once she awakens, she will just destroy everything. The entire universe will be obliterated, and they feel the need to kill her before it can happen. This is actually a really dark and intelligent plot idea, and one I was almost wondering, was this actually in the original anime? Because it's a great story concept. The concept of responsibility, how destiny is actually a negative in this. Because like I said in the last review, I can't stand destiny plots anymore. And the thing is, showing the concept of how destiny can be a bad thing, a dangerous thing. It's a great idea, and I love the fact that the Sailor Scouts at first are like, no, we're not going to let you kill her. We're not going to let you do this horrible thing. I really liked where this was going, and combined with all the improvements, I was in store for a great anime, and then it just goes completely down the toilet. First up, with Sailor Uranus and Sailor Neptune, I don't like these two at all. They are just generic, they don't have much of a personality, and they make no sense. Like, let me see if I got this straight. Back during the original Silver Millennium or whatever, Sailor Moon's mother sent them to the end of the solar system to deal with threats there alone. First up, what a bitch. And second, so did they live there to old age and their souls got reincarnated too? The show kind of makes it seem like they've just come to Earth because Sailor Saturn's soul has been reincarnated. Are they immortal, or what's going on there? And then bringing Sailor Pluto back, I didn't mind that at first, but wait, didn't she die in the future, so wouldn't she get reincarnated in the future? Why is she here in the 20th century? Like, what? Just none of it made any sense, and I don't want to think about it too much, except the show keeps sort of just kind of talking about it. Like, if it was just, here are these other Sailor Scouts saying that weird, okay, let's go, it'd be one thing, but the show keeps going back and forth to, like, their missions and their destinies, and I'm just completely confused. It's just not very well handled at all, and I could go by that if where the plot goes with Hotaru and Sailor Saturn was any good, but that's total crap as well. So essentially what ends up happening is you think there's going to be a big conflict between the Sailor Scouts, but before it can even go anywhere, she's whisked away, has her body possessed by an evil monster, and then that's just sort of where the season ends with our big climactic battle. Where was all that tension going? Where was all of that? It just gets completely wasted on pretty much nothing. Like, I don't really care about a giant generic monster, which is where this whole thing just goes again. I want to see where that conflict was going. In a year that has had so many good versus good intention debating type things, I would have expected just a little bit more from this, like just something. But on top of that, the whole Sailor Saturn thing is so unintentionally miserable. Among other things, the whole Hotaru backstory, losing her arms and her legs to a fire, no mother, just being bullied and picked on her whole life for no freaking reason, the evil psycho father, it's just completely sad. And then on top of this, she's got two women trying to murder her for nothing that is her fault. She didn't do anything. Why are they having all these terrible things happen to her? And then if that's not enough, to have her whole body taken away from her, and in a very painful, gruesome fashion. And then when it's all over, the whole Sailor Saturn shows up. She's got no character, no reason why she's got to destroy everything. She just comes in and out after 10 seconds. It's no, Hotaru's okay, and she gets to live her life, and whatever. Nope, she's dead and gets turned into a baby, but is the baby a reincarnated version? Is Hotaru dead, and then she's gonna be raised by her attempted murderers? Like, what the hell am I watching? And it's just the fact that it goes back into what I was saying last year, and that's they needed to update the plot. They needed to fix things, change things, plot holes. Today's anime viewing audience, I don't want to say it's smarter, but our standards are a lot higher because there is such an influx of different kinds and different levels of quality of product coming out. I'm not saying fans in the 90s had low standards. I'm simply saying in today's world, we expect a lot more tighter because there's a lot more media coming at us. There was never this much anime coming out in the 90s, especially to a Western audience. Same thing with movies and comics and all of this. As all this media evolves and grows, as much the storytelling methods. I've got no problem with Sailor Moon being rebooted. I think it's a great idea to update it for the modern day world. I love seeing how characters can grow and change through the decades. But the thing is that they didn't do that here. They did improve a lot, but it was fixing problems that should never have been there in the first place. The thing is that you need to make the story compelling. You need to make the characters' arcs feel complete. You need to do all these things, not just bank on nostalgia and the fact that people's standards aren't that high. I really enjoyed the first half of this whole thing because I thought it was just a fun, cute adventure. But then it tries to get all dark and serious, and it just doesn't frickin' work. Like, I'm sorry, just the whole series just fails because of it. But again, I won't lie, it does fix things. So if you're going to watch this, if you want to watch it just to say you finished the whole thing, go for it. Like, you won't be... I was never bored. I was never bored like I was last season. I was thoroughly entertained. I just think that Sailor Moon does deserve a modern day interpretation with all the modern day forms of writing and storytelling and the advancements in them. I'd like to see that, and I'm partially doing this review because I want to see if I'm alone on this, but that's how I feel. I can't change that. But what did you think? In the comment section below, give me your thoughts on Sailor Moon Crystal Season 3, and if you think it should get a 4th season, because it ends on a frickin' cliffhanger again. So tell that in the comment section below, and as always, click to like and click to subscribe so we can see if Black Lagoon ever gets a Season 3, please!